you all. Welcome to my bar, or should I say, in fact, welcome to the wonderful global press conference they celebrate in Roadhouse. Hello to everybody watching wherever you are in the world. Thank you for being here in the room today, our fantastic audience. Just before I welcome our special guests, a little tiny bit of housekeeping, please, if that's okay. For those of you in the room, please keep your phones on silent. Don't take any pictures or video during the press conference itself. Otherwise, we will all, well, someone in the room who looks really scary will have to take you out the back door. We are recording everything, so the files will be sent to you after the end of the event. Right, without further ado, please make them feel welcome. Raise the roof of this fabulous venue, please, and welcome Conor McGregor, Lucas Gage, Billy Magnuson, Daniela Melchior, and Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah! I'm really sorry I didn't have the bottles for us to throw at the band and through the chicken wire, but for next time. And listen, thank you for being here. It's great to have you all here today to talk about this film. Congratulations. I had an absolute blast with your film. So great. Jake, I'm going to start with you. And firstly, I want to say thank you to everybody who submitted questions. We will get through as many of those as we can from all over the world. But Jake, I'm going to start with you, if that's all right, because I know that you've been kind of just eager to work with Doug for about quite a while, isn't it? 2 centuries, maybe 20 years?
2
decades.
Definitely 2 centuries.
2 centuries.
Yes.
We're that
Since
old.
the medieval times.
Since the beginning of time.
Nailed it.
It's been that long.
Yeah.
He's been making
we
films.
first jousted
My
each other.
God.
And, yeah.
Yeah. But it's been a long time you've wanted to make a film with him. Why was this project the right thing for you guys to come together and collaborate?
I mean, well, first of all, yeah, we have been looking for a long time. And I don't know really what it was. I remember being out to dinner with him and talking to him about something else. And then he said, you know, I read this like reimagining of Roadhouse. And I just said, that sounds crazy. Let's do that. And that was sort of what we did. And the whole spirit of it was just sort of fun and joy and playful throughout the whole thing because of it. It was like every day when we were working, it felt like you were working with your friend. And he always wanted to get a sort of part of my personality that he said he felt he hadn't seen in a film before.
Nice when someone sees that you don't maybe see yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I think we pushed each other. It was great. It was great fun. Yeah.
You mentioned Reimagining. You know, this is the original film, '89. It's a different time now, but you can tell with this film there's a lot of love from the original in this film. Yeah. And I imagine personally for you, you know, having worked with Patrick back in Donnie Darko, there's a real personal connection to that. Yeah. How did you tread that line, you know, that fine line between it being something that you wanted to make, but paying homage to the original in a way?
I mean, Patrick was the best, like, you know, the most charismatic. I mean, I was a fan of his since I was a kid. I've watched Point Break maybe over 500 times. Like, my sister first took me to see Dirty Dancing when we were kids, and, you know, Ghost and so on and so forth, and Roadhouse too. So to me, and then when we did Donnie Darko, yeah, he was always so good to me, and his wife Lisa too. And so just supporting me from the start and throughout the years. So I didn't really feel like a great responsibility because we also both come from, I think, a space where, like in the theater, where you play other parts and many actors play the same part. But I did feel I wanted to honor him, and I definitely, his energy from the original one, bring it through. You know, Dalton shares some of the similar sort of personality traits that his character did too. But, you know, very important for all of us to respect the original. And both this and the original were produced by Joe Silver too. So like those decades, they come throughout the movie, and we all wanted to honor both. You know, it was very important.
Yeah, the kind of essence and the heart of it is there, isn't it, for sure. Daniela, congratulations. Such a great performance. She's got such a great kind of, I don't know, she's such a fierce character, and kind of no one's telling her what to do in a way, sort of thing. For you, what was the kind of most important thing that you wanted to bring to the screen with this character?
Yeah, I love the fact that she's I don't like comparisons, so I really didn't feel that I had to fill the shoes of Elizabeth. And that's another reason why they have different character names. One is Elizabeth, other is Ellie.
So different.
Just so you know. But yeah, but for me, I really can feel the time difference. It really makes a difference. I feel different than my mother and than my grandmother, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of patterns were broke for sure in Ellie's ancestors and everything. So of course it would make a difference, and especially on Ellie's arc and on Ellie's love story.
What do you think for her is the appeal of Dalton? What does she see in him? What's her opinion of him?
I think she sees trouble, and she's attracted to that. You
Always.
I've been saying that Ellie needs therapy ASAP, and she has definitely daddy issues. So yeah, she's attracted to trouble, and for sure. And also, like, we don't see that in the storyline, but I could really imagine that for sure she grew up with Brent at school or not, but I feel that even them, they could have had something in the past or something.
There's
because
history.
We did. That was our backstory. We talked about it.
So for sure she's attracted to trouble. That's why as soon as fresh meat comes to town, you know, she's like, okay, I can try.
Yeah, she's got her eye on him. Billy, I mean, this character, he's a piece of work, really.
He's an asshole. He's a horrible guy.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Is there
That was the job.
Is there complete joy in playing someone like that, in terms of, because it's a big, colourful playground that you can, you know.
Didn't even have to act.
There you go. Like, I think actually, like Conor's character or anyone playing a villain, no one believes they're the villain in their own story. So you're actually operating from a hero place, and he's just trying to figure it out. So in his head, he's just trying to solve the solution.
He's his own hero.
What?
He's his own hero.
Yeah, exactly. Who's an asshole. Yeah.
Lucas, just a beautiful kind
Nailed
of
it.
story arc for your character. Especially kind of, you know, being in this kind of environment with everything else that's going on. You know, there's a physical ask of you as well, you know, in terms of this character. But talk to me a little bit about the journey of your character and this kind of, you know, what he learns along the way, do you think?
I think he learns a lot along the way. I think Dalton teaches him to stand his ground, to own his space. You kind of see him as this timid boy becoming a man and standing up for himself. And you know, I think it was really cool. You know, I think the working with Jake and having him as someone I looked up to, Donnie Darko, you know, having him as a role model growing up, and then having kind of Dalton be a role model for that character. You know, he's like a fan of him, and he's so excited to see him at the Roadhouse. So it was an easy transition, and I didn't know how to throw a punch before I did the movie, and now I know how to throw a punch, and it was great.
Life skills.
Life skills.
Great.
You need to learn how to fight.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, sir. Oh my gosh. You make such an impression with this film and this performance. You just look like you're having so much fun. Yeah. Is that fair? Did you?
Yeah, it was a hell of a lot of fun. My first time doing it. I had an amazing cast to guide me and direct me and, you know, assist me. And they just told me to turn the crazy down a notch and go. And that's what I done. So that was me turned down a notch. That was Knox.
But Jake, how much of that was was in script, you know, in terms of kind of this, you know, it's like a catapult when he arrives on screen in terms of this, you know, he's this force of nature in a way, not just physically, but kind of, you know, with a personality with that as well.
Well, I mean, when Conor said that he would do it and he signed on, the part started to sort of grow in that way. And also, I think he brought a lot to it as well. He brought so many ideas. I think what I was so amazed by was you were constantly, your brain was like constantly bringing ideas, lines, trying things. You know, when you're like, I put it there, the notorious. I was like, oh shit, he's calling me notorious. You know, I was like, oh, here we go.
That scene was good, you know. We were given free rein to add. You know, we were allowed to be ourselves, and they were very supportive of that. Gareth Warren and Steve Brown, who were the stunt guys, who were coordinating the fighting scenes. You know, if they would lay a foundation, and then we'd add a couple of blocks here and there, and then they would be, oh my God, and they'd build us up to make us feel, wow, that was incredible. And then we just grew as a team, and then we had a great scene. That was my first, you know, my first entry into it, and our first tussle, myself and Jake. and we had an amazing time.
Wow.
So very, very blessed and very happy and very proud that, you know, I got to do it with these people here.
And this other side of it as well, away from the Roadhouse, these flashbacks that you have, you know, in terms of as an fighter, and those, did you shoot those before? You did there, or how did it work? Because you're actually, that was Vegas, wasn't it? And that was, you were kind of jumping in the ring between fights. Is that right?
Yeah, so we were scheduled. We finished shooting in the Dominican Republic, and then we were scheduled to go shoot the backstory at 283 at USC 283. And the night before we went, I got COVID. So we had a whole team headed there, and we were all basically there. And then I couldn't go, so we had to cancel and wait 2 months for 285 in Vegas. And we all then rallied again and planned again. What they said to us was, depending on how the undercards went, if they went the distance or they didn't, we'd have anywhere between 45 seconds and 7 minutes. So we had to make like 5 different alternate plans as to how much time, you know, the UFC would grant us to be in the octagon. And obviously for me, you know, I consider that a sacred space. To be able to have people go in there who and not be a professional fighter, you know, it was like, you know, and I consider the stage the same place, same kind of place, and obviously a very different way, but that is sacred. And so to be allowed in there, we focused on it like we were, you know, we gave it our all. So we ended up actually getting 7 minutes because the fights, the undercards didn't go all the way. And when we were in there, they'd go, you have 3 minutes. Okay, you have another minute. And finally they just said, just do the whole piece of the choreographed fight. And I thought, oh no, we're going to do this in front of a whole UFC, all the fans, and they're going to go, this looks so fake. Yeah.
You've done an amazing job, Jake. You've really done an amazing job. And I know what you were up against, because the UFC fans, they would be very, if it is not real or it is not true, they will not be behind it. You know, that was kind of my addition to it, to make sure that it held true. And Jake, a consummate professional, 75 movies, 76 movies or something like that, 16 in the pipeline right now, a true professional, a true workhorse.
It's like your PR.
Yeah, no, yourself. I'm proud to be alongside him and to work alongside him. And he done the UFC proud, and he done Swayze, and he done everything. He done us all proud. So fair play, Jake.
Oh man, that's so lovely. Thank you. But you had a job there as well, because you were kind of jeering the crowd up, I believe, as well. You were kind of getting everybody.
He was like, you know, it's fake, but it's not. Come on.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, the fans wouldn't respond to it if they start seeing it wasn't. Who are these people just coming out and facing off? It's not real. So I was in the crowd and I was the fan. And then when the fans saw me cheering, and then they cheered, and we got a great pop out of it. And I tell you what, it was worth it. It was worth its weight in gold, because you know, when Dalton's asleep in the car and he has his daydream, or you know, he's asleep, and it kicks into the arena of the octagon. For me, the movie lights up then. So it was worth its weight in gold, and it was genius, absolute genius.
Wow.
Director Doug Lyman was phenomenal. He made us all believe, me included, me probably especially or mainly, that I was better than I was, you know, and that, you know, that gave me a confidence to, you know, express myself even more, you know, and there you go. It's a good finish.
Exciting. That must be a different feeling from stepping out on a stage, though, to stepping out in the octagon.
Yeah.
The come down might be
There's
different
not a
as
lot of blood on a stage. Yeah, when we walked out there, well, yeah, I mean, you know, but there, I mean, when you walk out there, the fans, and by the way, you know, should say Dana White too, like, in all of his support in getting us there and helping us be in the octagon and get in the ring. But like when you walk out, you know, it did feel like stage in the way, and you just have to commit to it. But the fans helped. As we were, Jay Huron, who I fake fought in that moment, he turned to me right before we went, and he goes, "It's fine. You can just actually hit me. Let's just go. Let's just go. Just actually hit me." And I was like, I think it's like, you know, we got pretty close. But they really, that encouragement from the fans makes you go hard, and it was just incredible. I mean, there were times they kind of knew who was the good and bad in the story, and they would like cheer when I would throw a punch, and then they would boo when Jay would. It was great. It was great.
So great. Well, we've got so many questions that have come in from you guys. This one's from the UK. Jake's for you first, if that's okay. Talking about the training, you know, in preparation for those scenes that we're talking about. How many months did you have to spend getting in shape and eating differently? Because it's not just about being ripped. There's a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot about diet, but I'm a physical person, so I like to stay in at least a space where I can go either way, or and as an actor, I always feel like it's great to be in at least good physical shape to be able to, if you're going to do a long run of a show or whatever it's going to call for. So that I'm always into. But this was a whole different game. I had a whole team of people, and what was important for me was, I'm like 40 plus now. I'm 43. I was 40 at the time, 41, and it was really important to make sure I had flexibility and mobility and strength, and that we had the aesthetic stuff, but also when Conor and I are going at it over and over and over and over again, that you have the energy to pull it off for every take with the same amount of kind of gusto. So there was a whole plan and regimen to make sure on the days where we were doing a lot of fight choreography that we had the right energy and that we were eating the right thing. But about 2 months of intense work beforehand and getting into that space, and then actually the nature of the movie and how physical we all were when we were making it kept you in that space a lot. We're also in the Dominican Republic, which is very hot, so you're constantly sweating, so you're losing water weight, so you have you kind of always have a bit of a more of an opportunity to look aesthetically right,
And I believe as well that the way that the fight scenes were shot, with your collaborators, both in terms of kind of prep and how they were shot, kind of really groundbreaking in terms of how you did that as well, kind of pushing that kind of reality forward in terms of what we experience as film fans.
We should show them how we did that, but we can act it out. Yeah, the slow-mo. So we would do first we do the Hollywood pass, which is what we all know, and you see in the original Roadhouse, which is the angle for the cameras so that you could see and we'd respond. Then the next pass that Garrett Warren, Steve Brown, and Doug Lyman designed was a pad would be in place for the person that was being hit. So if there were 4 or 5 combinations, Doug wanted to do big, long takes. So we do 6 to 8 combinations within a take, and then he would put the pad where you needed to punch so that you could feel the impact. Like if you were punching, you would see the impact on the body. Then the next pass was whoever was getting hit would get hit with the pad, right? So you'd feel the body respond in a different way than selling it. And then the last pass was us doing it in slow motion. So Conor would come and he'd if he'd punch me, he'd hit my face and I'd respond in slow motion, like when your kid's playing. Yeah, we'd all go. We'd always do that.
Bet it's still really hard.
And then, and then you put them all together, and when they all go together, you get what you get in the final version. Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm exhausted thinking about it as well. This next one this is lovely. This comes in from Portugal, Daniela. It it talks about kind of getting the chance to work alongside Joaquim again in the film.
It's nice. I've been saying that it must be, I don't know, it must be funny to be Joaquin nowadays, because for sure whenever he receives a call from his agent or from his team, he must be asking, okay, who's my son or who's my daughter right now? Because he played Jason Momoa, father in Fast X, he played my father in this one, and and he's a great actor. He has this great career that he built in Portugal and also in the United States.
Yeah.
So, for example, whenever someone asks, so who are the actors from Portugal that work internationally or something, Joaquin is the big name. Yeah. So I'm very proud to work with him.
Yeah, he's so wonderful to watch on screen, just fantastic. Conor, this one's from you. This comes from Argentina. Say you make a cheeky entrance in the film. Was this in the script?
Quite literally.
And do you plan on becoming Hollywood's next ultimate hard man?
Of course it was in the script. I didn't just show up naked, This is me. Who's gonna say anything or who's gonna do anything about it? That is the truth. Who is gonna do anything about it? If you want to talk, am I gonna be Hollywood's hard man? Who could stop me if I was gonna be? I do it for real. I have done it for real all my career. So, to go in and do it that way, I for sure could.
Do you want to do more?
Right now, not at this time. I'm going to regroup after all this work. I'll leave it to the professionals. It's hard work,
Dude, Conor, I do remember we were on set and you were like, how the fuck do you do this thing over and over again? And I was like, dude, you fight for a living. That's hard. Yeah. Sorry I cursed.
That's it. It was hard work for sure. It was very hard work. I'm looking forward to getting back and regressing, resetting and recalibrating and mapping my return to the octagon. I'm eager for that. We're in the first quarter of 2024.
Yeah.
There's still a good chunk of the year left. I've got 2 fights left on my contract. Negotiations are ongoing. So when the promotional work of the movie comes to an end, when the St. Patrick's Day festivities come to an end, you know, it's isolation.
Priorities, Conor, I like
it's
it.
isolation and it's focus and move towards a return to the octagon. After that, maybe next year or something. I don't know. I will not say never, because I had such a great time and I met some friends for life here, and I enjoyed the process. Even Amazon have been absolutely amazing to work with. And you know, who knows what the future holds for sure in this industry.
You make a massive impression, and it's quite funny. He thinks that this was a harder experience than preparing for.
I remember you saying that too. I think what's so interesting is to us is that feeling, but also on the opposite end, you know, that's what's so cool about this movie is that bringing these two worlds together. You know, all of a sudden, the sort of fictional world of movies and then the reality of the UFC and someone like Conor coming into this space and us having that fight together. That moment where that first shot we ever shot was us, the headbutt shot, right face to face. And I thought to myself, what am I doing? This is crazy. and then I thought, you know, I've done a lot of stuff in my given field. And so I have to come in that. So the look I gave back to him was like, we're both
settle down. It was an amazing contrast, and it worked. It absolutely worked. It was the first time we came together. It was the first time we seen each other. Was when we came face to face, when I had found him. So it was as real as it gets. And I was coming in, okay, you know, I'm novice at this, but I'm the fighting man here. If I want to flip a lid, I'll flip this whole place for real. And then
I was like, I'll act the shit out of this.
It worked. We made a great scene. And you know, as far as it being tough and versus the fighting you're in and you know what the job is. You've got 25 minutes or less. You know, I've finished people in seconds. 10 seconds is my fastest UFC world title fight. So
I could understand that.
This is 18-hour days, and it's consecutive day after day. And it's also real. You know, okay, you're fighting, and there's a bit of script, but you're taking wallops. You're taking hits. You know, I threw him over the bar about 20 times. You know, he slammed the door on my head about 20 times. And, you know, I had a black eye and everything from the door. And the director saying, no, it's not. It doesn't look real enough. Do it again. I said, I've got a fucking black eye, director. What are you talking about? But it was a great experience, a really great experience.
That's amazing. This is a great question that's come in from Australia. Billy and Luke's like to ask you this one. As an actor, what's more difficult, a role with lots of lines to remember or one that has many intense physical scenes to film? Or do you find somewhere in the middle, I guess? I don't know.
I don't think it is about lines or physicality. I think it's about developing a character and having the breath live inside the character more than anything. I think finding that true spark or spirit of the character is the challenge and the excitement of being an actor, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Lucas?
Yeah.
I think the physicality for me, 'cause I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know how to walk half the time. So doing
Make sure you get your steps in. 10,000 steps a day.
10,000 a day.
10,000 a day.
No, I.
30 marathons a year. Then you've completed. That's what they say. 10,000 steps a day is 30 marathons a year completed.
There we go.
Yeah.
Start on that, Lucas.
It's 20,000.
Walking is underrated. Walking is underrated. I like to walk lately.
You like to walk?
I like walking.
Incline walking is what it's about, right?
I feel like it realigns the body even.
Yeah.
I'm just noting it more. You know, we drive to a place, we go in, we sit down. You know, we drive home, we go back, we sit down. We're not in motion enough, but you know, if we make that walk,
there you go,
get
Lucas.
those steps in, and you feel so much better for it. Your body, your mind, everything. So.
So I'm gonna go on a walk with Conor McGregor
Conor,
after this.
Let's walk to the bar.
Not yet. Oh. Lucas, but how do you overcome that then with something like this? How do you overcome that then when that is a kind of
I think it's just fake it till you make it, and I think honestly it was a big help working with Conor and Jake and Steve and Garrett and just having people that are experts at it, and eventually it's a muscle and you just kind of train yourself into getting more comfortable, but then also making it feel like it's new and surprising on the day so it doesn't feel overly rehearsed. So I learned a lot on this, and now I like working out.
That's an interesting one. You'd say that you wouldn't want it to be overly rehearsed. Why? So when you would rehearse, you wouldn't. I felt I was. I felt that with me. I felt like I was doing it so much. I had to, I was practicing it. I wanted to get it right, and I was practicing different versions of it. I didn't know what way the director would want it to be, so I wanted to have a few different ways to be. And I felt a little bit like that. I'm not doing it almost too much. No. That's you would say not to. Yeah. Just rock in on instinct almost a little bit.
Yeah, but I feel like you did that too. And you came up with new ideas on the day. I remember you would just throw out an idea and then Doug and everyone would get so excited about it. So I think it was a mix of it, yeah.
It's interesting.
Conor, I can see you doing this for years to come. You've got
I,
such an
I'm a
instinct
learner
of,
for
like,
sure. I
yeah.
want to learn, and that's why I'm listening
Yeah.
to learn from these guys here. You
Yeah.
know, these are the pros.
He asked so many questions on set. Like I was like, it was cool though to see that someone that would ask questions and be okay with it. Yeah, it was cool.
Fighting on boats, it never looks easy. I mean, fight in general.
My God, your guys.
The fighting on that little dinghy was like,
But that was soft, right?
yeah, but like,
It was in the middle of the ocean. In the middle of
We
the
were on the
ocean.
hard boat.
That's what I'm
remember
saying.
that?
You're trying to say this is not real. I'm getting launched off a speedboat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, holding onto an anchor and getting dragged through the water. What's not real about that? And then go again, and I got to climb my way back onto the speedboat and then go again. So we
Who
took
kept
some
throwing
rollups.
up on the boat?
Oh,
That
dear.
was cat.
Catfish kept throwing up on the boat scenes.
Oh, no.
it was
Throwing
the
up in
sort
between
of
takes.
terrible day of like half the crew going down and getting sick on the boat. We were all like, oh, we're shooting on a boat. This is great. And then everyone was like,
It added so much to it. It added so much to have the yacht in the play. It's like a Tuesday for me.
I feel that there's more to tell.
oh yeah.
What do you think?
There's definitely. I mean, also I think this whole cast and everybody was just, they're such kind, good people. And it was, you know, the Roadhouse, they built the Roadhouse. That was actually built for the movie. And it's incredible, right by the ocean, like it was all there.
Have they kept
And-
it?
Unfortunately, I think they just took it down. I think they were trying to keep it up so it could
They were
be
trying
a
to
real
sell
bar.
it. There was talk of acquiring it for $500,000. The president of Dominican Republic came to me. I own a pub. I own a
You should
a
have opened the Roadhouse.
I would have loved it. I said yes. I said yes to him. Only after the movie then, I went back and I said, what's the update on the Roadhouse? He said that no, they tore it down. That would have been an incredible tourist attraction for people to go and visit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they'd have just restructured it so it was safe and whatnot. Because, you know, the way the Dominican Republic is set, you've got this big resort, like a humongous resort called Casa de Campo. Is it Casa de Campo?
Yeah.
You know, that's where everyone will go on their resort. And then
Yeah.
you venture out to, like, more local spots. If we had a road, and that's where the
Roadhouse
set
was.
was, it was more localized. It would have been a lovely addition to the economy of the Dominican Republic. And they had approached us, and I said, I was up for it.
Next
But,
one.
Next one,
Next
maybe.
one, Conor. What does that environment kind of add to it? You know, in terms of it's set in Florida Keys, but you filming in Dominican. I mean, it's beautiful.
I mean, everyone in the Dominican Republic was so kind. It's such hardworking. Just like the weather is incredible. You know, just the set. Also, I mean, yeah, you're in warm weather. You're in the sun. You know, there's all that. It does add to the physical stuff. It is humid there. It is really hot. So when you're doing stunts, everyone had to be really careful about staying hydrated and all that stuff. But like generally, it was so nice that they picked sort of the idea of the Florida Keys as the environment. Because Doug always talked about how he wanted it to be like, he wanted fight scenes and he wanted to have the ocean and he wanted to be able to have those kind of sunsets in the space and not feel confined like you were in the middle of nowhere. He wanted to feel like there was this open expanse and it was always sort of lush to look at. And then you get that in the movie. You know.
I just want to go on the sandbank with my deck chair.
I know, but
Oh
we shot
my-
that twice because we
Yeah.
found the wrong sandbank
Sandbar.
found by the first day. Yeah.
That was such a beautiful scene.
Oh.
That was a beautiful scene.
But it was funny because the first time that we went to the wrong one, imagine that romantic scene, but with water.
Like,
Up here, the cooler and the beers were just floating and like floating away.
like
waste
water
the beer.
splashing in our face
Don't
and we're
waste the
both
beer.
trying to be like,
It was so awkward. Oh my God. And the seaweed, we had a lot of seaweed around us. So out of nowhere, a little bit of seaweed is on my leg. So not
That's so
romantic
funny.
at all.
We got the wrong sandbank, guys.
I thought you liked trouble and danger. That's trouble and danger right
Not
there.
awkwardness.
I really hope there is more because the tone of the film as well is just brilliant in terms of it's kind of got so much going on. There's such humour in it as well as kind of the drama. So I really hope that we get more of these characters and this story. Thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate it. Thank you for
Thank
watching
you.
wherever
Thank
you
you
are
so
in the
much,
world.
everyone.
Thank you.
And for our
Thank you,
audience
guys.
today.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
guys.
much,
Thanks so
everybody.
much. Thank
Thank you.